Okay, so now today we'll just jump right into our agenda. So basically we'll talk about the market entry into East Africa, identifying top distributors and wholesalers, understanding the scope of the food industry, the drink industry, and the hospitality industry. We also want to explore the benefits of exhibiting at the Kenya Food Event, and then we'll navigate the regulatory frameworks in Kenya, and then logistical considerations for exhibiting, and after that we'll have a Q&A session. Okay. So in terms of, before we begin the webinar, it's important that you understand who we are. So Montgomery Group is more than just an exhibition business. We have over 60 events in over 15 countries. You can just see that we have passion for the industries and countries that we work in. We have over 126 years of experience. We are a private family business, and we have a very good reputation in different markets. Although our group is global, but our reach in events is locally delivered. And we've developed key relationships across the industries that we serve. Our events span the fields of manufacturing, mining, security, aid and development, art, photography, food, drink, and hospitality. This is just a map to show you where we are in Africa. So right now we'll just talk a lot about Africa. So Kenya, those are our events that we have in Kenya. We have South Africa. So the offices that we have is Lagos, Nairobi, and Johannesburg. But then we have outreaches in Botswana and in Ghana. So that just shows our African footprints and the shows that we have in the different locations. Next, we'll talk about we have the core team overview. These are the team members working on the Kenya Food Event. We have myself, Angela Kinywa. Witika Musangi is our sales manager. Our marketing manager is Emmanuel Lumumba. Richard Jarumi takes care of our operations, and they have the official stand contractor. Mishak is in charge of our programs, and Ruth is the operations assistant. We have many more team members who work behind the scenes to be able to deliver a successful event. So in terms of a market overview, the food industry in Kenya holds significant potential due to the following factors. We have a growing population. There's, of course, urbanization and changing lifestyles as people get more exposure. We have, of course, a rising middle class. The government is really keen in supporting this industry, and also our location as East Africa's regional hub. So Kenya acts as East Africa's regional hub, which means that it makes sense for companies to set up or begin in Kenya as they spread towards East Africa. So overall, the food industry in Kenya is poised for growth and significant opportunities for investment, innovation, and entrepreneurship. In terms of key factors to consider as you're in terms of market entry, there's a regulatory environment. That's why we've invited our partners, KEBS, to be able to cover this. We have the distribution channels. There are several distribution channels that are available. There are retail stores, e-commerce platforms, distributors, and wholesalers. And honestly, depending on your objectives, all options have their disadvantages and their advantages. But then in the following slides, we've listed some of the main distributors and wholesalers in the industries. In terms of partnerships and networks, at the Kenya Food Event, we have several partnerships. We work with in terms of associations, governments, institutions, and partners who help us and you as potential exhibitors to be able to navigate the Kenyan market more effectively. As well as coming to a new market might be a bit tricky, and there's a lot of considerations for a company to do that. So what we have done in terms of market research, you have one of our partners called Amena Africa, who can provide in-depth market research according to your portfolio. And this will be able to help you understand consumer preferences, competitive landscape, the distribution channels, as well as adapting your products to the local needs and preferences. There's also logistical consideration to consider as you're thinking about the market entry. We've invited our partners, RHS, who will be able to advise on this. There are several market entry strategies that you can use. There's direct exporting, there are joint ventures, franchising, or even setting up a local subsidiary. So all these options are possible depending, again, on your objectives and the market research. And again, as I said, we can be able to link you up with a local partner who can be able to give you a more detailed, in-depth market research. In terms of support services, it's always important to have a key local contact who can be able to assist with support services such as linking to government agencies, trade association, business advisory services, and investment promotion agencies. And as the organizers of a Kenya food event, we have the knowledge and the network to be able to assist with this. So we talked about having the top distributors in East Africa. So there are several distributors. So these are not all of them, of course. But of course, if you listed all of them, it's going to be quite a lengthy slide. But in East Africa, there are several distributors and wholesalers who play a very pivotal role in the food, drink, and hospitality industry. They have extensive networks and experiences in catering to the diverse markets within the region, ensuring widespread distribution and access to a wide range of products. So some of examples are Best Buy, Port Cross, Chandarana, Naivas, Quickmart, Carrefour, Critical Distributors, Domain Kenya, Maxam, and others who are on this slide. As I said before, we'll be able to share this afterwards because I know it's a lot of information in a very short time. So don't worry about that. In terms of the size and scope of the industry in East Africa, so the Kenya food industry has grown by an average of 1.2% annually since 1966, reaching about $12.3 billion in 2021, and is expected to reach about $13 billion by 2026. So you can see that this is quite a volume to be able to consider. The food industry's total earnings have increased over the past 3 years, growing at an annual rate of 9.2% annually, and this is only in Kenya. And we are targeting the whole region. So the food market in East Africa is substantial. And it's of course driven by several factors. There's population growth, urbanization, changing consumer preferences, etc. And the rising middle class who have increasing disposable income further contribute to the expansion of the market, And this makes it an attractive destination for international businesses seeking to tap into its vast potential. In terms of the drink industry, in the first quarter of 2023, the Kenya beverage market consumption was at 1.71 billion liters. And in terms of in 2023, the alcoholic drinks market generated about $4,033 million in revenue. And according to Statista, the non-alcoholic drinks market in Kenya is expected to generate about $5,460 million in revenue in 2024. And from this, about $65.63 million is expected to come from out of home. So the drink market in East Africa encompasses a wide range of beverages, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. And they're both locally produced and, of course, imported. And this includes things like carbonated drinks, juices, bottled water, beer, wines, and spirits. So the drink market in East Africa represents a dynamic and lucrative sector for businesses looking to expand their presence and capitalize on emerging trends. Kenya hospitality industry is one of the country's top 3 revenue earners in the last 10 years. We've been seeing an increase of about 20%, of course, with a slight decrease in 2020. In terms of the hotel room revenue in Kenya, it's projected to grow at a compounded rate of 5.8%. And also the restaurant and accommodation sector, it grew by 21.5% in the first quarter of 2023 and by 26% in the third quarter of 2023. So this hospitality market is important because of course, it has a wide range of services and establishments catering to both domestic and international visitors. So anyone who's looking at supplying this industry is actually entering a very good market with great potential. So I'll come down to the Kenya food event. This is the biggest exhibition serving the food, drink, and hospitality industry in East Africa. Our third edition is taking place from 3rd to 5th September at the Site Exhibition Center. And it's a leading event offering a pivotal platform for industry looking for new suppliers, producers, and service providers to enhance their business. It's a B2B exhibition, making it a great place for you to be able to exhibit art and showcase your products. Our theme for this year is unveiling East Africa's culinary and hospitality future, where innovation meets tradition in food, drink, and hospitality. So of course, the theme celebrates a blend of innovation and tradition, shaping East Africa's culinary and hospitality industries. It highlights how modern advancements complement age-old practices to propel the region forward. So we picked this theme so that you can be able to be aligned with everything that you're doing for this year's campaign. In terms of key figures, as I mentioned, this year is going to be our third edition. So we had in the 2023, we had over 2,000 visitors, over 100 brands on display, and 15 countries being there. In terms of job function, owners were 40% in terms of visitors, senior management or directors, 24%, head of procuring or purchasing, 8%. The rest are continuing there. In terms of primary sector of interest, if we do the split, food and drink was 60%, hospitality was 40%. The overall exhibitor satisfaction was 4.2 over 5. And then there's always a question we are asked in terms of what do we do on visitor marketing. So I'll just do an overview of this. Of course, there's a lot to be added towards this, and we are always open to ideas. So we do a lot of social media, Google ads, email and content marketing, telemarketing. We also run a hosted buyers program where we bring in the visitors from East Africa, and we pay for their flights and accommodation, ensuring their attendance. And these are usually key buyers. We also do billboards and street polls, newspaper, both advertising and organic content, associations and government bodies, as well as industry media partners. I hope we are all together till there. So now I'll just do a highlight of the benefits of exhibiting at the events. Of course, is market exposure. You get exposure to a vast audience comprising of industry professionals, buyers, distributors, and consumers from across East Africa. So this is an excellent platform for you to showcase your products and services. It also we also create a very good network opportunity, allowing you to connect with key players and decision makers in the regional food and drink industry. Market insights, you're able to gain valuable market insights in the East African landscape. You get to know the consumer preferences and emerging trends through seminars, workshops, and interactions with industry. Brand visibility, you're able to enhance your brand visibility and recognition in a rapidly growing market, positioning your company as a leader in this sector. Opportunity for expansion, you can explore business opportunities and potential partnerships within the dynamic East African markets. You can lay the groundwork for future expansion and growth. In terms of associations, as we spoke about, we said that we have key industry partners that we work with. So these are some of the associations that we work with. These include the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, the Kenya Bureau of Standards, the Zanzibar Association of Tourism Investors. We have the Hotels Association of Tanzania, amongst others. So you can see that we have really built a network with the associations to ensure that we're able to cover all fields. In terms of media partners, we have media partners such as the Asia Food Package, Go Places, who have a great network in Africa, Food Pack Africa, Food Drink and Innovations, Food Business Africa, as well as many more. So you can be able to see this as well. Like I mentioned before, we'll be able to provide the slides, the recording after this. So what are the opportunities here? We have the stands. You can be able to pick up a stand, and you have several options of stands. We have space only, where you can be able to build for yourself. We have stand package, where you can be able to have, where we provide the stand for you. Bolt-on package, which has more of the branding, be able to do the branding on your behalf. And you also have an enhanced package, which now entails more things on it. In terms of sponsorship opportunities, we have branding packages such as registration, where we have everything registration is going to be branded towards the company. You have the badges and lanyards, bags, ads on website, where your ad can be able to run on our website, which has high traffic, and now giving you more exposure. We also have a Kenya Food Event Daily that's going to be printed on the days of the event, which also gives you more exposure. And we also have floor events, which includes now the competitions. I know in the beginning video you saw a chef's competition. So this year we're having a chef's competition, a barista competition, and a mixologist competition. So this actually gives you more more opportunities to be able to represent your brand. In terms of thought leadership packages, we have conference sessions, which, as you can be able to see, that we do run conference sessions, hosted buyers, where you can be able to focus on key buyers where you want from the region. And then you have customer focused engagements, which are done outside the event, and it's basically a company hosting us assisting them to host their own event and reach the specific people that they want to meet. So from there, I think I will just check the Q&A. I hope I didn't rush much, but I was just trying to make sure that we keep time. Okay, so I think next we can invite CMB Seruya to be able to talk a bit about the KEBS environment, and then we can save the Q&A at the very end. So welcome, CMB or CMB. I hope I'm saying the name right.
Hello, Shembi, maybe you can check your audio settings. We can't seem to hear you.
Shembi Seruya?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Am I clear now?
Yes, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Hello?
Hello, Shembi, we can hear you. Can you hear
You
us?
can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. You're welcome to present. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you are able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes, yeah, so.
Okay, my name is Shembi Seruya. I work with Kenya Bureau of Standards. I am in Food and Agriculture Laboratory. So I'll take you through the regulations on food and beverages. So just something about KEBS. Kenya Bureau of Standards is a national standard body. It was established in 1974 under Cap 496, the Standard Act. What we do standardization where we provide standards and regionally, and we work together with East Africa. So we have the ESC, we also globally with ISO and ARSO, and also ARSO. The other thing that Kenya Bureau of Standards do is product certification and inspection, which is done under a department called Quality Assurance. And also there is a market surveillance department that usually do the surveillance on quality of products. Then we have testing services that do analysis, the conformity assessment. We have calibration services that is done under metrology. Then the National Quality Institute, which deals with the trainings on quality systems. Then we also have management system certification that do certification of management systems. So that's about KEBS. So on the matter of interest, the product certification and inspection, internally, which means in Kenya, we do product certification and inspection where it is done under quality assurance. And when the quality assurance does the service, what they do, they inspect they inspect the company or the institution that do produce the products in Kenya, and they are issued with a mark called S-mark, that is standardization mark. So they usually go, they do the inspection, they withdraw the samples, they bring to the lab for analysis, then they are subjected to the standards, the Kenya standard, so that they can be issued the S-mark. And the S-mark is renewable every 2 years. So after 2 years, then the process is done again. But in these 2 years, there are also some surveillance that are done by the keyway. It is not that after issuing the S-mark, it stops there. So they also have a plan. After some time, they'll go back and check if everything is okay. Another department that we have, the market surveillance. The market surveillance, what they do, they usually go to the market. They go to the company like the quality assurance. Now then they go to the market. They also have a plan where after some time, they target a certain product. For example, they can target a cereal product or a beverage or any other product. So they'll go to the market at a certain time, they withdraw samples, then they bring to the lab so that they can be analyzed to ensure that what is going to the market is what has been gone through by the quality assurance to show that the quality and the safety part is still being maintained throughout when the production is done. That is for the internal product certification and the inspection. Now for the import, this one are done through what we call PVOC program. And PVOC is pre-export verification of conformity to the standard. So the program is just to check do the conformity assessment, which is applied to the product at the respective exporting countries. So, for example, when a product is from China, so what they do the pre-conformity assessment from that country to ensure that this product is compliant with the applicable Kenya technical regulation and mandatory standards. So the conformity is done in that country before it is exported to Kenya. So this program has been implemented since 2005 with no new requirements. However, there has been improvement in clearance procedure following the amendment of legal notice number 78 of 2020. And in this legal notice, what the improvement that has been from the legal notice number 78, it is for the exporting country either to choose between the PVOC program or the destination inspection. So the difference is the PVOC, the conformity assessment is done in the exporting country. And the DI, the destination inspection, it's whereby the product comes to Kenya, then it is inspected in Kenya. So that's the difference. So for DI, it is being facilitated faster through product registration. We'll go through this in the next slide, where you do the product's registration, or it can be done through diamond mark certification, whereby the product, it is inspected and it is given a diamond mark of certification. So also through registration of import cargo consolidators, or it can be done through an MOU between KEBS and the Courier Industry Association of Kenya. So for export, you can choose either the PVOC or the destination inspection, We'll go through this so that you can see the difference. So this program is operated, the PVOC is operated by accredited third-party inspection companies on behalf of Kenya. So these companies are usually selected through a competitive bidding, and the inspection company must have a technical capacity to carry out conformity assessment. So this third-party company they are usually they are usually assessed so that they show that competence, that they are able to carry out the conformity assessment, and what they are checked on so that they can given the contract. They are the following: they must have a physical presence in the export country. For example, if they are exporting from maybe China, so this company that is the third party that is given that work to do the verification, they are supposed to be, they have the physical presence in that country. They are supposed to have accreditation for conformity assessment and product certification. They are supposed to have an experience in offering conformity assessment, qualifications and competence of personnel, have a risk management system, accredited lab, and have information and communication technology resources to support conformity assessment activities. So for the PVOC program, these are the objectives for the PVOC program: to ensure the quality of products, health and safety, and environmental protection for consumers. It also, the objective is to facilitate trade by ensuring that the compliant goods are given expedite clearance. They don't take a lot of time. So they assist to reduce time for clearance. They minimize the importation of substandard and counterfeit goods, because now they are being pre-verified before they are imported, they are exported to Kenya, to safeguard the country from unfair trade, to reduce turnaround time for clearance, and also to provide cost-effective procedures. So the basis of conformity assessment, it is based on standards and applicable regulations, and this is the hierarchy. So first, those products have to be meeting the Kenya standards or the EAC standard. The EAS standard, that is the East Africa standard, that is the topmost. So the second, the ISO, the regional standard, national standards from the origin, and also manufacturers' specifications. So the PVOC program, we have the general goods. Usually they are contracted, the KEBS has contracted the following companies, and which runs from 2022 to 2025 May. So we have from the China country, now where goods they are coming from China, the PVOC third party that do the pre-verification for Kenya. We have four farms or the inspection countries. We have the China certification, the China Handsome, TUV Austria, and the World Standardization. Then all other countries which are exporting to Kenya, which are not made from China, but other countries. So the third party that do the pre-verification is this SDS. So they do it on behalf of KEBS. So we have the route certification routes, where now the goods that are coming to Kenya, which route, maybe if you want to export your goods to Kenya, which route can you take? We have three routes. So before you export your product, you can pick any of the 3 routes to obtain the COC. So when your goods that you want to export to Kenya, it comes with a COC. So you can pick either of the 3 routes so that you can obtain the COC. And these routes depends on around 3 things: the frequency of the exporting, how often do you export to Kenya, the risk level of that product, and also how your compliance, when how you have demonstrated your compliance when you are initially applying that certification. So you'll be able to see the 3 routes. So the first route is mandatory consignment inspection and testing. So if you take the route A, your products that you are exporting to Kenya, the food product, the beverage, or any other product, it will be subjected to mandatory consignment inspection and testing. So that product or the shipment will be both tested and then physically inspected to demonstrate conformity to the relevant standards. So testing must be done in a recognized lab that is usually the ISO 17025 accredited, or from the PVOC service providers lab, or maybe a government designated lab. So the route A is where your product will have a mandatory consignment inspection, and then it has to be tested. Then another route is, the second route is product registration, whereby this, before you export your product, you apply for registration of that product. So usually this offers a fast track certification process for the goods, and they are usually of low risk, which usually do not require mandatory every time the mandatory testing for that time. They are classified as a low risk, because what you do, you bring your product. It can be done through the PVOC lab. You apply, then they do the testing. So they'll do the analysis, they check the product if it is complying, then you will register that product. Then you will be given the COA, that is the conformity, the certificate of analysis. Usually they do in batches. When you want to export, you have your batch, so they'll take that batch, then you will be issued with a certificate of analysis for that batch. Then you will be issued with a COC. So usually the inspection for this product is only 30%, which means you will not be subjected to every time you export, they do the inspection and testing. It is only that for that, when you have done that batch, then the only inspection that can be done and testing is only for not 100%, but 30%. So usually testing is done in a recognized lab. Labs only mandatory during that registration. So during the registration is when the testing will be done, and from the recognized lab, then the following exports that you will be bringing to Kenya will be just be subjected to inspection, and it's only 30%. Then there's the third route is for product licensing. And this route is open only to manufacturers who can demonstrate the existence of quality management system. So it's usually licensing of the product manufactured, and is done through authorized PVOC agents, and usually they use an ISO guide 28/2004. So testing is also done for this product licensing only to the recognized lab, and only the testing is only mandatory during that licensing the point of licensing. Then certificate of analysis is also given for every shipment. Every shipment you do, then they give the certificate of analysis, so that you are issued with the certificate of conformity. So it means that when your products comes with the certificate of conformity, then those the many things that are being done, like the mandatory inspection, will be reduced. So the product it will take lesser time to be accepted in the country. So those are the three routes: the mandatory, the product licensing, and the product registration. I hope I'm not going too fast. So usually when this is done, there are usually some charges. We have the verification fees. So for route A, it is usually charged 0.6% of the FOB value. Then route B, it is 0.5%, and the route C is 0.35%. So, those are the charges, and it lies between $265 and $2,700. So these charges are they are not inclusive of the laboratory testing. So when laboratory testings are being done, for example, for product licensing, when you are doing the licensing, the laboratory charges will be, the laboratory testing will be done. So there is additional charge for the laboratory testing. There is also manufacturing, licensing, registration fee, sampling of the bulk, and then the inspection. Those are different charges in addition to the verification charges. And these ones are usually charged on case-by-case basis. For example, laboratory testing, like the product licensing, we have seen that it's only being done when you are licensing. So that is when you will be able to be charged for laboratory testing. The next time you are shipping maybe your product for that batch or that shipment, when the testing will not be done, then it means that you will not be charged for laboratory testing. You will only be charged for the verification charges. So it's a case-by-case basis. We have some exemption for the PVOC, but because now, I don't know if I can go through this, since we are looking at the food, the beverage, and the food product. The ones that we have here, the exemption, we have the industrial raw materials, some equipment from manufacturers, parts, original for equipment for medical things. But for the food product, in most cases, they go through the PVOC. When we go through this one, I am not able to see any exemption for food products. So, which means food products and beverages, they are supposed to go through the PVOC. So we have some goods that are imported for diplomats, maybe, and motor vehicles, the courier parcels, those goods that are certified by KEBS, for example, the diamond mark, because the KEBS officers usually have a program for the products or companies that have diamond mark. So they are usually go through some rigorous inspections. They go through they go through some audits before they are issued with diamond mark. So when a product has a diamond mark, it will be exempted from PVOC. So it has a lesser clearance time when it is being exported to Kenya. We have also the personal effects and all those, some re-imports. When we are doing some re-imports, temporary imports are also exempted from that. So benefits of PVOC program, it will reduce rejection. Instead of bringing your product which has not gone through pre-verification, where you will maybe you take a lot of time to get your product up to the port, then you are getting shocks when your goods are being rejected. So it's a benefit when you go through the PVOC, because now you are sure that the product you are bringing to Kenya, it is meeting the standard. So there will be less destruction and reshipments. So that's a benefit. And also it's the trade facilitation is a trade facilitation tool, because now the good is pre-verified in the country of origin. So you are sure when your good gets to the port of entry, it will be accepted. And also goods with certificate of conformity issued under the PVOC program are cleared without further intervention. There are so few interventions that will not make the exporting, maybe the exporting country or exporting person, the goods to have so many interferences. The clearance will be faster when we go through the PVOC. We have also some challenges for the of the program, the PVOC. There's usually some delays in certification of goods in the country of supply. So you can find maybe the person who want to export their product to the country, there are some delays to get the certification. So usually the challenge is addressed by monitoring the PVOC agents, those agents that have been contracted by KEBS. So they are usually monitored so that they are able to certify goods on good time. So where they find the PVOC agent providing some, maybe there are some delays, there are usually some penalties. That's why there is renewal. After 5 years, they change, because when they find out there are so many delays with one, maybe the contracted person, and there are no good reasons, so they are given penalties, and maybe they can be withdrawn from providing the service. Also, another challenge is misconception by importers on the responsibility of ensuring compliance of their products. So this challenge is addressed by creating awareness. So there are some importers which they have misconception on their responsibility. They are supposed to know that the products that they are exporting, maybe exporting to Kenya, unless they are aware of the requirements, they'll not be able they'll not be able to export their products. So there are usually some awareness on the standards and regulations and requirements for you to export your products to Kenya. Also, there are also some challenges on the obtaining of test reports from accredited lab. So for this accredited lab, what they have done to address this, we have consumer products where they can use not only the accredited lab, we can use a report from a recognized lab. So usually, I might not go through the others, because machinery, spares, and all other equipment, we are talking about the food and beverages, so it is covered under consumer products. So those one, instead of restricting ourselves on accredited lab, we can use the test report that is coming from a recognized lab, maybe from a PVOC agent, or PVOC agent themselves. They can witness. They do the witnessing of testing of that product so that they can inform on their certification decision. So in conclusion, we have published the manual, the operation manual, the PVOC. When you visit the website, the www.caps.org, and you go under PVOC, you will be able to download or see the operating manual for the PVOC, which can assist to know more when you are using the PVOC on when you are exporting your products to Kenya. So the manual is usually monitored and reviewed periodically to address challenges and to improve the schemes and the program. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ashembi. So we've had a few questions. So I'll just mention them right now. So we have, this one is from Anonymous. He mentions, hello, I want to understand if the PVOC procedure must be done each time we export. Or suppose if a product has been cleared the PVOC assessment once, can it be exported to Kenya without the PVOC for a certain amount of time?
Okay. So if one has a PVOC, I've taken you through the three routes. The three routes which you can use. So the first route, it is the mandatory consignment and inspection, and it's being done by the PVOC, the service provider in that country. So we'll either do the mandatory consignment and inspection, and I mean the mandatory consignment inspection and testing, or they can go through the second route where you do the product registration, or the third route, which you do product licensing. And in these three, they usually issue a COC, that is the certificate of conformance. So every time you are bringing your product in Kenya, it is supposed to be accompanied by the COC. So if you have gone, for example, through route, through route C, where you are doing your product licensing, the COA is for every shipment. So every shipment you are going to do, you are supposed to be given a COC for that shipment. And if you are going through the product certification, you have the COA which is traceable to the batch. So it means that you have a batch where that batch, it's only once you are doing the testing. So they'll give you the certificate of analysis. And this certificate of analysis is for the whole batch. So when you have done the export for the entire batch, because when they give you certificate, the certificate of analysis, they'll issue with a COC. So that certificate is traceable for that entire batch. So every time you are doing the export of that entire batch, you will be using that COA, the COA and the COC that you have been given. When that entire batch is done, you have to do another registration for another entire batch. I don't know if I've addressed the question.
Thank you very much, Ashembi. It was from an anonymous attendee. So if they feel the question is yet to be addressed conclusively, please just feel free to raise your hand or submit in the Q&A section. Then we have another question from Sumit Singla, who says it's from India and SGS is only, let me just see. There is only SGS authorized for COC. Can you appoint any other agency? I'll repeat. Smith, from India, there is only SGS authorized for COC. can you appoint any other agency?
At the moment, for the year 2022 to May 2025, these are the inspection service provider, which is other countries other than China, is only the SGS. So maybe after, if there are some challenges, maybe after May 2025, the appointment can be done so that they increase that the service providers, but currently it's only the SGS for all other countries apart from China.
Right, thank you for that. If there is anyone else with a question to meet, we hope the question has been answered. We have Kush Lak Hanpal, who asks if we are exporting different products within the same container, do we need to have multiple PVOCs? If we are exporting different products within the same container, do we need to have multiple PVOCs?
I think yes, because different products have different COAs, certificate of analysis, so they will be issued with different COCs. So yes, you will have different COCs for different products.
Right.
Certificate of, yes, conformance.
Okay. Thank you very much. To Kush, I believe the question has been answered. If there's any other question, feel free to raise your hand. If not, you can also, all right, Kush has said his question has been answered. That's good. Then I believe if you have any other questions that you'd also like to maybe ask, we can forward them to, we'll be sharing your contacts, Ashimbi, so that if they have any other questions, they can reach out to you directly. Other than that, thank you very much. I'm saying if they have any questions, we can provide, it's all right to provide your contacts, correct? So that they can reach out to you directly and ask any questions they have. So yes, other than that, all right, great. Thank you very much, Ashimbi, for taking the time, and thank you very much. So we'll move on. Asante sana. We'll move on to Gideon. Gideon, welcome. You can share. Gideon is from RHS. He would be able to talk to us more on the same. All right. Thank you, Gideon. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Gideon. I represent RHS Freight Services Kenya Limited, which is a clearing and forwarding company. So, RHS is a group of companies based in Dubai, and in Kenya we are a branch which we deal with freight forwarding and also customs clearance and delivery. So, in core business is our core business is in shipping and logistics related services. And we are a member of KIVWA and also Kenya Maritime Authority, where we are registered as the consolidator. So in import, we handle both import and exports, which includes air shipments. We do sea freight and LCL. For ocean freight, we handle both full container loads and less than container load, both import and export. For import, we operate both ICD Nairobi and also Mombasa, where we also have our office there. Air freight we do from Nairobi, which is mainly in Kenya, and the imports we do all over the world. We can bring any shipment from anywhere in the world because we have partnered with the other agents worldwide. Apart from that, we also offer warehouse services, whereby we can store the goods on behalf of our clients or importers. So mainly, I want to take you through the requirements for the import in Kenya, whereby first is for exhibition can be either permanent or temporary, whereby for permanent import, the importer or who is the exhibitor has to pay the import duties and the taxes. In temporary import, there's no need to pay taxes because the goods are imported under they are covered by the particular bond. But for the food and the beverage products, I think there's no need for the temporary import because most of them are being consumed or they are not returned back to the origins. So documents needed for the importation in Kenya, there's from the importer or the shipper, exhibitor, we normally require the commercial invoice, packing list, the certificate of analysis of the product, material safety data sheet of the products, testing reports of the products, and a certificate of conformity. If there's no certificate of conformity, we can arrange local inspection upon arrival of the goods. Okay, so we normally advise the importers or our clients to ensure that the goods are timely imported in Kenya, so that we may have enough time to do the clearance and the delivery at the exhibition place. So for air freight shipments, we recommend the goods to arrive at least 4 or 5 days earlier, so that we may have enough time to clear the goods and process all the required documents. For sea freight, we normally require like 10 days because sea freight clearance, it takes around 4 days to clear the goods. And also because of documentation, transport from Mombasa to Nairobi, it may take some time. So it's good to ensure that the goods are delivered earlier so that we may have the goods cleared and delivered within the stipulated time to avoid inconvenience during the exhibition. Okay, on the imports, the procedure, we normally, before you import the goods or before you plan to import or export to Kenya, it's good you plan earlier, you inquire from us the requirements because of some documents which are needed. So procedure number 1, we normally apply for import declaration form because without the IDF, you cannot proceed with the inspection. That is if you have to do the PVOC or pre-verification of conformity from the country of export. Once the IDF is approved, some products, depending with the HS code used, may attract some permits, which will differ depending with the type of the product. Because some permits, like ACA permits, are mandatory before the IDF is approved. So we have to apply those and for the IDF to be approved. Once it is approved, everything is okay. Now you can send your goods. Upon the arrival, we normally enter the goods to the customs, whereby you are supposed to pay the import duties and the taxes. Once they are paid and everything else is okay, we can deliver the goods. So for air freight, it takes up to 2 days to ensure the clearance and the delivery of the goods. And for sea freight, it's an average of 4 days. So I think that is that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gideon. Appreciate you taking the time. If we have any questions, feel free to submit them on the Q&A section. Any questions? We can also allow you to unmute your mic. We can give you the opportunity to ask the question. So just raise your hand or type in the question in the Q&A space. Maybe I give a minute for people if they would like to ask any question.
Bado haijaisha lakini tunamalizia, ndio video namaliza kupresent. Okay.
Right. I believe with there being no question, what we'll do, we appreciate you all, especially our speakers, for taking the time to be here, both Gideon and Ashiembi. Thank you very much. All right. I believe there's a question here from Kush. What documents are required if we bring the samples ourselves? Gideon, I'm not sure if this one is for you. Maybe Kush, we can give you a chance to unmute your mic and ask the question. And also specify who it's directed to.
Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay. So when we normally go for the exhibitions, typically what we do is we carry the samples ourselves on flight. There are not too many samples. So if we were to bring samples on flight, as you know, through a baggage or just a box of samples that we carry with the luggage, are there any restrictions or any documents which are required for that?
Kush, I believe the question is directed to who is it directed to? Is it
to Mr. Kimu?
Okay, for the import of the accompanied luggage or accompanied goods, it will depend with the value of the goods. For example, if the value of the goods exceed $500, their customs officer who are based at the import area or at the exit area, where they will verify the goods and they may calculate the import duties and the taxes for you to pay there. So they will ask you some question about the goods, like their value and also the main purpose for the import. Okay, secondly, there is restrictions for some goods. Like there are some goods which are not allowed for the import or which have restrictions, like for example, like alcoholic beverages. You cannot exceed some volumes. So they have restriction for accompanied luggage. If you exceed the required or allowed volume, also you pay for the import duties for them. For example, for the, let's say for the gins and the whiskey, they normally allow 2 bottles of 750 ml. If you exceed, you pay. Also, there are some goods which are banned in China, which you cannot import, which are not allowed. So it's good first, before you come with them, you request whether they meet the requirements or they don't meet the requirements to be imported.
Okay, so basically my question was more pertaining more to participation in the exhibition, and you know, obviously you carry small samples. I mean, you don't carry too much in terms of value. And typically what happens is when we participate in Gulf food or the other countries, the document that we carry is that free trade samples of no commercial value. So that is how we carry the samples when we go to, let's say, Thailand or Singapore or Dubai. Does that work in Kenya?
You see, every country has its own rules and regulations. And as per the Kenya, for accompanied luggage is allowed, but if the items are new and the value are high, the customs officers there will calculate the amount of duties which you are supposed to pay.
Okay, thanks, get it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Kush, for asking the question. I appreciate you, Gideon, as well. If there's anyone else who has a question to ask, feel free to do so. Any other questions? Right. So thank you all for participating, for availing yourselves, from the participants to the panelists, Oshiambi and Gideon. We appreciate you all for taking the time. And if there are any other questions that come up, feel free to reach out to us, either through Angela, me, Emmanuel. We would be able to direct your questions to the relevant individuals as well. Yes, so thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.